and welcome to the BertaBlab. Today I've got these incredible women with me. I've got Ricci Jane Adams, Anna Grillo, and Bridgette Ferguson, and I'm going to put them through the BertaBlab process. I don't know if any of them knows what they're in for, but it'll be fine. I'll be gentle, I promise. I'm an online marketer, and I don't even know how to unpack Blab in the context of that, except that I just love talking to people. I love making connections with people and networking and collaborating with people, and I find Blab such a good way to do that. Plus, I had a heap of clients who had heaps of trouble describing what they do and what their sessions are like and things. And I think when you are trying to market your business, sometimes explaining your services and yourself in words can be so hard. So gratefully this Blab's recorded, and if anyone whips out with any unscripted gold about what they do, this is a great opportunity to get your transcriber out and just capture that gold. So
hopefully
that's kind of
I might do a little Facebook Live posting while we're
platform. That's exciting.
That's and tweets and shit.
I don't know. Awesome. That's good. Ricci, she's savvy on the gear. I
actually can't tweet. Yeah. I don't know how to tweet anything. More to the point, I'm not sure anyone's listening. Or
that would be it, except the robots. All the robots over on Twitter having a good old robot party. So maybe I'm going to start with Anna, because you're the person who I organised first. So let's do it like that.
Oh, yes.
And yes. I think I don't know what's Anna going to talk today about, because the thing is that Anna not kinesiologist. No, it's the other
I
one.
am both. Yeah.
A kinesiologist and an epic smart lady about HR and getting help in your biz. So I don't know what she's going to whip out today, but what I'd love you to do is explain what you do in better words than mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go back a little bit. So my background is actually in the corporate world, in the HR arena. And when I've had my kids, I decided to do a bit of a career change, hence became a kinesiologist. So now I'm coming back full circle, because now I'm starting to incorporate my HR and skills back into it. So I'm realizing a lot of entrepreneurs, particularly in that solopreneur space, really require, I guess, as you get to a level in your business, you really start to require support, but it's not in that traditional space of employees and the like. So I guess trying to lend my expertise, blending both, that beautiful emotional intelligence, I guess is sort of what I call it, blending both of that left and right brain approach. You've got your business strategy, but also let's bring that heart-centered type, that knowledge to help you move forward in your business. So
nice. And if I was going to have a session with you, this is the other reason that I started doing BertaBlabs, because some people do kinesiologists and it's like, oh, they do kinesiologist. You know what I mean? The sprechen, it's not coming out so good. And the question was, well, how will she do kinesiology on me online? Like, is she going to touch me? So I was originally going to call on my blabs, is she going to touch me? But instead, I want you to explain, what would you do to me if I had a session with you?
From a kinesiology perspective, or
anything you like, thing? Whatever you like.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I guess because I do, my focus is a bit more on that business process. So it really is about finding out. I like to see, well, what's your 3-year vision, and what's your top three issues that are troubling you right now, and let's try and merge the two together to see what your actionable steps are going forward. And because I'm working with people, when you're getting to a stage that you're looking to hire, you're sort of at a certain stage in your business to start to scale and leverage that. So there can be a lot of mindset shifts that needs to happen as well. So I guess it's really handy that I can pick up my little toolbox and use some kinesiology strategies and help people sort of work through and clear that type of stuff as needed, and then really get down to what do you need to get done and move forward in your business as well. So.
Oh my God, that sounds delicious. I'm so excited about the day that I'm ready for that.
Oh, great.
It's like when I have to start paying for MailChimp, I'm going to have a party. And when I have to upgrade my Zoom, I'm just going to have a massive party.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's exciting. It's scary, but it's really exciting stuff. So, yes.
Yeah. And I totally hear what you're saying about mindset. Like, even just for me, this week I have this new pledge, like, that I'm not going to do any business outside of my 4 days. I have these hours delegated. And I think I've been driven by kind of a scarcity mindset, something like, I really need to make the business happen, so I have to give it everything, and I just have to go at it all the time. And the kids, or the husband, or the anything, sleep, nothing else, because this is so important. And I realized, like, it's because I wasn't charging enough for one thing. And then, so I really was in scarcity. Like, I had to have so many clients and put so much effort in every week just to get it to be a viable thing. So for me, mindset's been a huge thing. Step by step, just, okay, I can relax, I can ease in, and I can accept that I can just work in this parameter and do what I can from there instead of flogging myself. So up-leveling is a time for, isn't it? It's just a crazy time for mindset stuff coming up.
Indeed, it is. Yes, and I've been doing a bit of that as well. Productivity has been, productivity is a bit of a word that I've been playing around with. It's quite because that's the whole thing. I don't have a lot of time, but I do have time, so it's making it as effective as possible. Yes, knowing when's the time to chill out and not feel guilty about binging on Netflix, and when's the time to, there are small pockets of time and you just get stuff done. So yes,
yeah, cool. All right, let's do Bridgette.
Lovely, thank you.
Pleasure. Let's go with, I maybe have seen you a little bit in groups talking about being ready for a relationship, but not really about being in a relationship, but just actually getting ready in yourself. Am I even close? Is that you?
That was my former life.
Wow, what are you doing now?
So it's kind of been developing from that. So it's totally relevant to what I'm doing now. But I guess I just realized through working with more and more clients that actually what I'm doing is helping mainly women access their feminine energy, so they're feeling inspired and joyful and passionate both in their working life and their intimate life, because I was just having a lot of clients come to me with either no desire or no sex or disconnection in relationship. And it was because they were like living these kind of high-powered, successful lives in the day, in their work, and just totally in that masculine doing, action, achieving space, and just couldn't switch over to being in the feminine space in the evening. Because
everyone's nodding.
Yes.
It's a total epidemic. So I mean, really,
it's an epidemic. It is
totally an epidemic, and I feel like we're being all called to really find that place of the feminine in not just in our intimate life, but in our work life. So already what you've been talking about is this sense of, how can I use my time effectively and not slave driving myself and not having this scarcity mentality. How do we actually be in this place where we're like, I can actually play and be in joy and be creative as well as being focused and taking action and achieving. And it's like this kind of sacred union of the inner feminine and inner masculine. It's not about throwing out the masculine. It's about doing masculine in a different way. And so the bigger vision of that is really that, we're still living in this patriarchal paradigm that's totally valuing the masculine way, which is why we're all doing it the masculine way in the absence of those, female role models. And, we're shifting out of that paradigm, and it's a whole new paradigm that we're birthing. So no wonder we're all kind of like, But yeah, one of the symptoms is lack of sex, and that's kind of where I started.
Interesting.
Spirituality and relationship coaching, and it's kind of more, I call it now feminine empowerment coaching, because it's incorporating definitely the relationship and sex stuff, but also this, how can I be powerful in a way that's not burning me out in my work life.
Cool. Because sometimes I've lately been it's been impossible for me to switch off. Like, I'll be halfway through a lovemaking session. This is totally TMI, but I don't care. And I'm still thinking about the people that I've been serving during the day. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, my partner is taking me to the happy place, and I'm thinking about fucking emails. Like, it's so wrong. I haven't told him. Gratefully, he doesn't watch any blab. But it is. I'm fascinated now to hear more. I mean, what would you do with me if I saw you?
So most people's problem is living totally in the head and not in the body, that's a classic example. You're having sex, which is this totally embodied experience, but you're in your mind, so you can't it. And so, it's teaching people to be really in the body, And a lot of us not being in the body is one, being totally mind focused, but it's also avoiding feeling strong emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, when we avoid it by being in the mind, and we want, you know, analyze it, think about it, but don't feel it. And when we're not feeling, you know, grief or anxiety or whatever the feeling is that we're suppressing, we're also not feeling pleasure and joy and you know, stuff, because they all get numbed out at the same time. So a lot of what I'm doing with women is just helping them be embodied, be in the body, be feeling emotion, and tuning into pleasure in a way that's not goal orientated. So often, you know, it's becoming very fashionable to do 21-day self-pleasure journeys, for example. And
I didn't know about that. So that's the thing.
It is totally necessary that we reawaken that, but I just broaden that definition of self-pleasure, because it's suddenly, if you're feeling totally unsexy and you're like, fuck, I've now got to masturbate for 21 days, it's like, that's the last thing I want to do. So rather than like add masturbation to my list of to-dos, it's like,
oh my God, that's so wrong.
So wrong. It's like, what does my body actually want? It might want, you know, I want to just give myself a head massage, or I want to stroke my face, or I want to rub cream into my hands, or what's my body actually calling for? That's the entry point for pleasure. When you start putting pressure on yourself that to feel this sexual pleasure or this something that's not actually happening, it's almost dishonoring of the body. The body's got those messages there for a reason. So kind of meet your body where it's at, and start really listening and dialoguing with your body, rather than like, okay, we're going to get this sex thing happening. When you're not feeling it, you know, it's like it's like a burden.
And I find often, actually, I mean, because I do meditate, and so I have a grounded practice that I just, you know, how life is, you go in and out of being really on it with your practice, but I have to just come back to breath. I mean, do you find you use breath as a tool?
Yeah, that's like the simplest thing, you know, that's the one thing. If someone's in a total state, totally out there in anxiety, it's just, you know, 2 minutes of breathing can totally alter your experience. So it's
cool.
Like the oldest and simplest tool is breath.
The corker.
Breathing, you know, most people are just breathing as slowly as possible, and the more we breathe, the more we feel, basically.
Oh, what gorgeous work. I'm so glad you came on.
Yeah, thanks. Fun to go too. It's fun.
Yeah, it usually is pretty fun. Ricci Jane Adams, the intuition expert. You're going live.
I'm just going live in my
live now.
Hi, everyone.
You're wild.
Oh,
I've heard about your types, the 7 social medias at once.
By 7, you know, trying to serve many people, but that all sounds so exciting, and I love how, you know, I'm sure it's no accident, of course it isn't, but everybody's work would work. We should run a retreat together.
It always happens. Every blab.
Amazing. But I think that's
every blab.
There's intersections always, you know, if you go into this work of being a heart-centered entrepreneur, then you're usually moving from a place of, as you say, of that the divine feminine in balance with the masculine, you know, and when we live as we do in a patriarchy, that's a really hard paradigm to find that balance. It's absolutely at the heart of everything that I do. And when I work with women, it's very often about moving into the receptive power of the divine feminine, which is the do without doing and everything gets done. And it's moving into the knowledge that you are, in my philosophy, an energy being first. And when you know that you can create, and in fact do create your life, whether you're conscious of it or not, just through the vibrational frequency or the feeling state that you're holding first and foremost, then you understand that the rushing about and the doing and the goal setting and the I'm going to masturbate for 21 days and it's going to be awesome is just completely not, you know, it's such a masculine force energy, you know, that kind of raw, and the receptive divine feminine power, which is, you know, she waits on the will of heaven. She waits to receive the inspiration to take action in her sovereignty, in her queendom. She doesn't rush around. She sits on her throne and she waits for what is needed and when to be called to take action. So I love everything that you're saying, Bridgette, and I really, really resonated. And for me, of course, intuition resides in the feminine aspect of our natures, which we all hold. We all carry the masculine and the feminine, but women are the keeper of the mysteries, and we hold the sacred naturally inside of us. And I think that we are more attuned to being able to speak the language of the soul, which is what intuition is for me. Intuition is simply the conversation between you and the universe, and it's practicing your intuition is opening to that conversation, which is happening all the time, actively participating in it rather than just sort of bumping into it from time to time or going, okay, I need a car park, tune into my intuition. Like, used it for the stuff of our life, the stuff that is our true nature. Yeah. So I'm very excited by everything you're both saying. It's awesome. And also your sex story, Natasha. I'm pretty excited about that.
Sorry. I know, I'm a shocker.
What I love is you actually were having sex, though. I think that you should give yourself props
well, that happens.
Look, I'm going to give you some little props right now. There was sex.
I had sex.
That's awesome.
It does happen.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I know that I've heard you say recently that you have been doing readings, but you're moving more towards working on your Lightworker Institute.
Yeah.
So I don't know what are you going to tell me? If I came to see you, what would you do to me?
What would I do to you? Well, look, my one-on-one work is incredibly sacred, profound work. It's, it's life-changing. If you compare it to, you go and have an intuitive reading with an amazing reader somewhere, and it might be like a weather forecast where you find out what's going on and what's happening for you and get deeper understanding. But what happens when you have a session with me is I want to empower you to know that you are the intuitive powerhouse that you're seeking. And so really we're finding out what's causing the weather. We're going into, how do I then master the weather? How do I become the master of what is happening in my reality? So I call it applied intuition. We clear out, your subconscious fear-based programming, which is the storehouse, but it's also the thing that connects you to universal consciousness. And you want that channel to be open and really profoundly clear. You want to tune in at the highest possible level. And so we go back through the annals of time, because your woundedness hasn't just come from this lifetime. There may be past lives. Now, if someone comes to me and they're not interested in past lives, we'll just keep the conversation to the subconscious mind, and we'll look for the negative fear-based thinking that's dominating your interactions with the world, and we'll clear that out very profoundly. And I have a whole bunch of tools to do that. And then we go through your chakras, and we read each chakra at the level of the physical body, of the level of the energy body, which is where you're sort of carrying most of the information that's going to end up manifesting into physical reality. And then we go into your soul level. So that's where we sort of access what wisdom your soul has brought through in this lifetime, and what your highest possible blueprint or pathway is. And we align you with that. Now, all of that I love doing in the one-on-one. It's incredibly profound. But what I want to do more than anything is give those skills to every single woman on the planet, because you already are the intuitive powerhouse. But we have blocks between us and that knowing, and that is fear. And that fear has come into us from this lifetime, but also for thousands and thousands of years of that unconscious collective memory that we share. And so we're clearing out the fear. So for me, becoming intuitive is about becoming fearless. And it is possible to live fearlessly in our lives. And that's really my great mission. And so I run workshops, and those workshops are, I guess, the heart and soul of what I do. And ultimately, I want to get to the point where no one needs to have a reading with me, because they can do it for themselves. And, of course, I have people I go to. Of course, it's beautiful to have people we can be guided by and mentored by. But yeah, I really want to reconnect women to that profound wisdom that resides inside of them, not in an accidental way, but in a really purposeful, every breath of my life can be guided from that sacred knowing. And, that's all. Then I'll have a cup of tea and lie down, and maybe some sex. So my husband doesn't get much action either. I'm a little bit busy with,
I'm so busy. Well, no, I'm not playing that line anymore. I don't want to be the busy person anymore. I saw someone the other day and they said, how are you? Oh, you're busy. I was like, well, I don't actually want to play martyrdom busyness anymore. Like, I actually want to be in charge of it. And I just saw a friend she's a nutritionist and she's thinking about starting a business. I was like, look, just start with the boundaries first. Like, just decide how many days or hours a week you have, and let's unpack it from there. Like, don't think about what you have to do, because you have so many ideas. Like, we all have so many ideas, like this course and that program and this workshop and this one-on-one work, and I can teach those people. And it's like, whoa, you just need to get real about what you can actually do in a day. I guess, you know, that's my masculine trying to take control of the masculine. I also, like Bridgette said, like I need those times where I just get in my body, like I go to the sea or I just get really grounded. So it's just such a juggling act. What a lovely palette of skills y'all got here today.
Pretty lucky that all this wisdom exists, like in your sphere, Natasha. Look what you've created around you.
Oh, darling, you're gorgeous. I've looked at your work and gone, but I'm so intuitive already. Like, I don't really need a reading. So I'm interested in what anyone has to help me with, because I have this ability to like get the tiniest scrap of information and run with it. And then, well, because I meditate, then I get the experiential, it gets shoved into me in my daily practice. I just get shit happens to me all the time, and I take everything personally in a good way, and then it just accelerates my growth. So
absolutely. And I think that's the thing is, you know, when you seek out guidance, often people think about having an intuitive session when the shit hits the fan. We often wait until our life is in crisis. But what if we used it preventatively? And, you know, we go to our guides, we go to our wise women, we go to our soul mentors, in the same way that we go to our business mentors. You know, we see the work of maintaining our soul's health and our energy body's health as vital as, you know, as having a shower every day. You know, we don't see it as a negotiable thing. But I think, you know, for me, wherever we are, intuition is just a symptom of awakening. It's not the end point. It's a symptom of your awakening consciousness. And so, you know, it's just really joyful to do PD, do professional development around that and go deeper, because wherever you are, your union with divine consciousness can go deeper. Oh, yes. And so that, you know, everything you're talking about, particularly, you know, Bridgette, you were picking up, but I think both Anna as well, is that it's about integration. So it's not the days that I go off and I be, you know, spiritual on those days, or I go and be embodied on those days, or I have sex on those days, or I'm really, you know, good at my job on these days. It's every breath is guided. Every single breath, you know, because you're in flow and you just feel into what is right action in this moment and this moment. And, you know, I run my whole business that way, and I set goals, but then I set those goals aside and I wait on the will of my guidance. And then, you know, without fail, the next step will be provided and I'll know. But, you know, I think for someone like you, as you say, you're really in tune. So then it's simply about, how do I fine tune that? How do I integrate? How do I let my whole life be led from that place? And
have fun.
And that's the essence of it. You know, joy is the barometer of the soul. Your very actual purpose in this life is to know joy. And we don't think about that. We don't honor that. We don't give ourselves that. So, you know, if you're feeling joy, you're on the right track.
I heard someone commented in a Beautiful Money group yesterday that they wake up every morning and shout out to themselves what a wonderful day, and how they're drawing so much more abundance to themselves. And the other woman responded and said, oh, that's really cool. And then she said, yes. And then I skipped to the bathroom and I said, gee, if you did that at my house, I'd probably want to punch you in the face, because I'm really not a morning person. And I'm not really saying anything about you. I'm just saying something about me, because I just not feeling it in the morning. So I'd love a tip. How about you all give us a tip on, let's go from Anna again, on how to, you know, a tip on how we can maybe not necessarily be tapping in the joy, but to be getting that balance, or just a tip on how to go forward in our life. Because I feel like what we're talking about today is balance.
Yeah, it's so important, and especially because I find, as you know, as women entrepreneurs, we try to go into this from the lifestyle factor to bring us more joy, because we absolutely love what we do and feel really aligned, but then that can take over. So I think, you know, the usual, but tapping back into that why we're doing it, because I know we get caught up into the day-to-day stuff, but for me, sometimes I really need to stop and pull back. And a lot of it, my why, I've got quite a few different ones, but I just realized the other day again, it's like, oh, hang on, it is for me to be there for my family and my children. They're actually my, priority, having this flexible around them. So, and I actually did just make the decision. These are the days, I'm not working Tuesdays and Fridays. That's it. So let's make it fit down to the other days. So giving myself permission, I guess, to do that and saying that that's okay. We don't have to be 24/7. Yeah.
And the why is so good on the hard days, I find, is to anchor back to that when you're having that day of, oh, I had my first nightmare client, or, what am I doing in groups, or what the hell is this Instagram? Why am I bothering? And then, to anchor back to the why is just so helpful.
Yeah, and never doubt Instagram. It's just really good.
Yeah, the struggle is real for some people.
Yeah, but I was thinking another one, but it's also honouring your cycles and being able to do that, and that ebb and flow of even that masculine, feminine energy when we're full of energy as well, and the time to pull back. And so this week is I've been trying, like, I've got so many things to do. I've got some time, let's do it. But I'm just like, I'm mentally up here, I'm exhausted. I'm just like, you know what? Rather than trying to push through, just pull back and sit with it. So then when I'm, in a day or two, I'll be on fire and be able to, produce much better than trying to push through the last few days.
Yeah. Cool. I love that. Yeah. Bridgette, what do you got for us?
So I'm a big ocean girl. I get in the ocean every day. And I'm an early morning person, so I go by the beach and then I get in the ocean even when it's freezing. So that's my kind of daily kind of get in my body, feel good thing. Dance is a really big one for me. That's, it's really a practice. It really just helps me shift through stuff and get into a place of joy and feel all the other stuff as well. Totally. That's something that, having come from, I used to be a barrister, so I was totally in that masculine, full-on world, and I used to do boot camp all the way through my period, feeling like,
oh wow.
And it's like, that's one thing now that I just always really honor my cycles. I really honor my energy levels, and and right now, I've moved to Sydney less than a week ago, and I'm tired just from the emotional thing of it. So I'm just noticing that I'm not very productive and reminding myself that's okay. Just take time to settle in, and it'll come.
I've been loving honoring my cycle too, and I've just realized this month I had my webinar scheduled for my period, like when I'm about to bleed. It's like, what are you even doing, woman? Like, you can have your webinar any time of the month. So I just totally postponed this month's webinar so that I can do it when I'm ovulating. I'm all like, blah, and, really upbeat and have a much more magnetic energy at that time of my cycle. So, I think you can really apply that to your business and just giving yourself permission and noticing. Yeah, it's a good one. Ricci, Jane, what would you recommend to everyone for getting your joy on?
Gosh, I'm just completely enthralled with what everyone's saying. And the cycle thing is something that I've only just started giving myself conscious permission to do. And funnily enough, I feel like there's a kind of responsibility in it because I have 2 boys, and I don't want to send them out into the world not equipped with that knowledge to understand the women that they will honor and respect and bow down to. I feel like, I want to be much more transparent with it, and it's a good reminder. So thank you. I was so engrossed in your tips. I'm like, oh my God, you delayed your webinar. I'm so impressed. So here's a tip that I gave my group recently, and I think this is a really, so joy for me is a permanent internal state that is always there, but once again, our layers of fear obscure our relationship to it. And happiness is an external state that's stimulated by stuff happening outside of us. So other people make us happy, or we get a great pair of shoes, or whatever it is. There's an external kind of thing. But in order to practice that joy muscle, which is the highest vibrational frequency up there with love and where we want to be and how we get magnetic for all of the stuff we want in our life, whenever you have an experience of happiness, for whatever reason, your kid brings home a picture that makes you, from daycare that makes you smile or whatever, instead of just feeling the happiness and putting the picture down and moving on, go into that internal state and breathe into the feeling of happiness and expand it outwards, as though it's a, you know, if you're visual, you'll see it as a bubble moving out from your heart space. Or if you're, you know, if you feel or imagine, use your mind or use your body to kind of tap into that feeling, and let that happiness grow beyond all proportion, and just let it completely consume you like a fire or a wave. And what you're doing then is you're reminding yourself of your own natural state, where you are entitled to reside all of the time. And it takes that fleeting moment, and it makes it more permanent, and it actually completely changes your cellular consciousness. You rewire the brain, and you bring yourself into this state in which you are, the next time something happens, you're more able to feel that happiness easily and effortlessly. So that's my tip.
I love that. My girlfriend just got back from a bush doof, and she, you know, took stuff there, and she was like, and then I had the ecstasy hangover, where still for days afterwards I was really loving everyone so much. And I was like, yeah, well, that's why they give it to depressives, darling, because they're like, the neurons have like got in a rut, you know, like, and then once they just get a little taste of it, yeah, you can rewire it again. So it's a similar thing. I mean, I never really did much of that, but I, you know, when I go to no, not really. I did yoga for like.
Oh my God, I was having full-on yogasms yesterday. It was heart chakra, and I was like, "Is anyone noticing?" Yoga. That's another.
Well, it's a good tip, but also like that you can, like, now when I go to a doof or something, I don't need to take anything, and everybody thinks I'm the most off my face person, but it's just that my body remembers, you know. Your body remembers that experience, like the loud music, the late night, the mystery of unknown people, and then something gets triggered. I mean, if I go ecstatic dancing, I like half close my eyes, and then I find a light, and I know this sounds insane, but I like shake my head around so that the light swerves, and it like trances me out.
Yeah, you're a tripper.
So there's different ways you can like get yourself in a different state just by triggering an old neural pathway or something.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was saying. Take drugs. I'm glad you heard the tip inside of my tip.
No, like retrain your neurons to like to remember the good shit. Really, I mean, what are you gonna do? I feel like I've embarrassed myself enough on this blab. I don't know if I can post this publicly.
No, you're totally gonna post it. It's awesome. I feel like I know you really well.
I had a chat with someone yesterday. Like, she was like, "Oh, I want to have a chat with you. Let's have a Zoom chat." I told her all my bad stories, like all the stupid shit I did when I was young. I was like, what am I doing? I don't know if it's safe to tell everyone all my stupid stories.
No, I think I respect you a little bit more right now. Underground DJ. Yeah. Party girl.
I parked out of DJing the other day. It was all too much for me. I reckon I have to go and get my kids soon. That's not very glamorous. So let's do a round of, like, if you have an offer or something, if you want to drop a URL in the chat, let's go from Anna again. And Von. Relatable.
There you go. And vulnerable. I love that, yeah. A little vulnerable when she's down there.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What do you got going on, Anna? Oh, I've muted you.
Yes. I was muting myself as well, so just in case. Basically I'm still doing one-to-one offers for the next few weeks. Yes. So if anyone wants to get together and work with me, we can. We do a bit of a 90-minute intensive and just lay it all down, see where we can help you get more into your business. I'll pop my little website in the chat box.
Great.
Get in touch with me there. Yay.
Oh, soon, baby. Bridgette, what are you doing now if you've got a whole new program direction?
I'm doing an online course called the Aphrodite Empowerment Circle. And so that's basically doing what we were talking about. So it's really helping women get into their feminine energy so they can be powerful in the world from that place of the feminine, and really kind of juice up their sex life and relationship as well. So I'll put the URL in the chat box. And
that'd be great.
It has got the wrong price on it at the moment. It's actually it's actually cheaper than it says on the thing. So I am changing that today.
Cool. Oh, tech gremlins. Ricci Jane, what are you talking about?
Hello,
this week?
everybody. I'm heading to Perth next week, so my mind is kind of consumed by that, and that's all sold out. I'm doing readings and workshops. But look, if you are in Perth and you're watching this and you're like, I want to hang out with you, then just maybe send me a message and I'll sneaky get you VIP backstage passes.
To Florence.
Oh my God.
Florence and the intuition.
But generally, I don't have any offers right now. I'm kind of booked up until the end of June for one-on-ones, but because I love you, Natasha. So if anyone wants to have a one-on-one with me, you can have 90 minutes for the price of 60. Just maybe send me a little message and let me know that you saw us here, and I'll be very happy to extend that time, because, you know, once we get going, it's often I'll get to 60 minutes, and I'm actually thinking that will be something that I phase out, because it's like it's too exciting, it's too much awesome stuff going on, and then I kick everybody out. So 90 minutes for the price of 60, so that's $94 bonus. Woohoo! Come and have your energy evaluated. Let's change your life.
Yeah, God, just being near you changes my life, Ricci Jane. Your vibrations
back at you. Like,
it's freaky. And my thing is I know nothing like any of those incredible things. I'm doing a Snapchat webinar.
It's pretty important. It's pretty important.
Which is like, you know, I don't know. I do know. What am I saying? Hold up there. Lots of people are interested in what the heck's going on over there, and I've been there a bit and I've seen some things, and so I'm going to help unpack it for people, just so they can at least decide if they even want to bother, and if they do want to bother, then how the heck to get on, and if they are on, how to make it better, and a few more advanced hacks. So here's my link for that. Yeah, I think it's a really great platform. Because people generally be a bit goofy, they be a bit themselves, they be a bit raw or authentic, or it's a great place for storytelling, or you can use it for teaching. Like, I just think it's an incredible tool. But I know that a lot of people have this certain number of hours in the week, and how am I going to squeeze it in? And, you know, so just go through all of that, make sense of it. I think it's fun. You get to do those stupid filter things on your face. It's like being a teenager again.
Oh, I'm totally going to do it. Sounds fun.
Yeah, I think fun. Like, I think it's that thing about that you've all said about balance and joy, and it's just one platform where you don't have to be so serious. You can just be a goose.
It's a lot of fun.
Thanks, women.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone who watched. It was nice to have a little micro audience. Lost Ricci, but that's okay. We love you too, darling. And I look forward to seeing you some more, Bridgette, around the place. Now I actually understand what you do.
Yeah, I've been a bit quiet in the group, so you'll probably see more of me now. But yeah.
Yeah.
Chat, thanks.
No worries.